all about my cheese. I ain't worried about the pasta. Baby, nine, touchdown on the rock. Yeah, I hit her up. Burn like a baby. Scream in the rain. Dixie like the weather. Third rim of cup. Can't go without my medicine. So quick. Like a big bag of pepper. Where is the metal? All these young suckers. You know the money talk. You can ask Chris Tuck. I'm a country boy.
Welcome to the Side Action, episode 11 of season 8. My name is Jim Weglars, a.k.a. Wegs. You can follow me on Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper and on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. And again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to check out TikTok. It's Wegs' baby. It's his bread and butter. It's what he does whenever he's not on dates. So
Don't forget about Side Action Pod on X, Side Action Podcast on Instagram. And yes, TikTok is my child. So,
yeah.
you know, like those things. So we got a couple guest stars. We'll get into those in a minute. What about the weekend, boys? Well, I guess we'll introduce. We got Alistair. Obviously, he's in the Witness Protection Program if you're watching the video. And we got Art Horseshoe Murphy over there. So what'd you guys do this weekend? We'll start with Al and Art. What'd you guys do this weekend?
Well, my probably the highlight is my son in 6th grade played in their semifinals of the football conference, and they managed to pull off a come-from-behind 14-12 win.
Nice.
So heading to the championship on Saturday in the rain in Chicago. So that was kind of the highlight for me. So just kid stuff, nothing crazy or fun, unfortunately.
Are you on like the 52nd floor, by the way?
What's that?
What floor are you on? Like the 52nd?
I'm up on 45. Yeah.
45.
Oh,
damn,
so that's
so
like
close.
Michigan behind us there.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. What about you, Prime?
I worked all weekend, but I was making some bets. On Saturday I was losing, and then the very last race I had $300 in my account. I went heavy for a $250 and a number of bets, and I fucking just drilled it. It was like a miracle. I won't even throw how much out I won, but it's just like I felt my chair, and I was like, oh, couldn't believe it. It's the highest winning I ever had in my life, and yeah, I was like walking on air for the last probably the last 6 days. Crazy. The horse racing, it took me home. It was a beautiful race.
That's what the show is for, by the way, is to talk about how much you won. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah,
I don't want to
bragging
say
show.
it. I don't. It's great. Yeah, I believe in like karma and all that stuff, so I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah,
And
well, yeah, right.
We believe in winners.
We believe in credibility.
I
on
knocked
this
out like
podcast.
a bunch of winners on that one race, man. I'll let you guys know. I hit the exacta, the trifecta, and the superfecta. Exacta, I just did a straight. I had 2 horses. I just did a straight.
Wow. No
And
box.
then for the trifecta, I had the single for the win, and just had 2 horses in second, third, and same thing for the superfecta. Except for the 4th place, I had 2 horses, and for each level, it just came in. I was like,
Hell yeah.
wow, the handicapping actually works. But pure luck.
That's my guy. So what about you, Coop? How'd the bowling go this week?
Not great. It was okay. We didn't bowl well enough as a team, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday we did the Wolves game, which was a good time. So yeah, Chicagoland hockey, baby, it's buzzing. It's that time of year.
That's right.
So,
Nice Wolves.
yeah, other than that, not too much. Yeah, just hanging, living and grooving. I've been at what the hell is the name of it? Downtown, the big center, on Martin Luther King Drive. What's the name of that one? It's the giant convention center.
Oh, you mean
McCormick? Yes, there we go. McCormick. Yeah, I've been in McCormick the last couple of days. I can't believe I couldn't remember the name of that. But
you get lost in there. You get lost in there for sure.
For sure. So, but other than that, just living and breathing, baby.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Well, I was Austin Powers this weekend, as you guys saw. Some of the
striking
social
resemblance.
Groovy, baby.
I had to get the straight bang. I didn't do it for the pod here, guys. Sorry, I didn't bring the goop out here. But pretty fun time. I think the pub crawl was a little more fun, and I think the highlight of the week, it wasn't just me. My costume was cool, but did you see Phil's costume? Our buddy Phil.
See the golden shower?
Yes, he was the golden shower. It was an all-timer. And Al, if you haven't seen the photos, I'll have to send it to you. Yeah. It was an all-timer. Everybody was going up to him and like getting crazy. It was like, oh, we know who the freaks are in this group. So it was just randos, right?
That's a perfect Phil costume, actually, now that I think of it. That is like right up Phil's alley. Yeah.
He also had a towel on. I'm like,
was he Mitch, by the way? Is that Mitch or is that
Mitch.
Phil in the golden shower? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Which
exactly
one
right.
is he? Is he
that's
Phil
a good
or
point.
Yeah.
This is alter ego for certain.
We'll have to ask him. Yeah. Hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. So but quite a full weekend. I'm in Phoenix right now. We'll get. I made a little money, not like Art, but I was hitting. It was National Tight Ends Day, which I cashed in a little bit. We'll talk about later. So. Well, let's get right into the shed. This is the people got to get in there. They got to learn their lesson. They got to come back. Sometimes they can come back stronger. Sometimes they don't. So, what do you got, Coop, for the shed this week?
Well, the first one I have tendencies. Taking tendencies to the shed because I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but there have been there have been 2 18-inning games in the World Series history. Did you know that Brad Paisley sang the national anthem for both of them?
Ooh.
All that.
Yeah. So unbelievable. Yeah. So Brad Paisley is what Scott Foster is the NBA. He's the extender. So that was the nice synonym this week. And then LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's in the shed. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but he flew the finger. He gave the finger to the official after.
Really?
Well, in fairness, it was a pretty weak ass charge call.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it got overturned, but yeah, $35,000 might be the most expensive bird you've ever seen. So
well, there
he's
you
in
go.
the shed. Congratulations to him.
$35K. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think
later.
Art quite hit that on the race, but maybe he did. Can you imagine just losing what you lost to the track right away?
Yeah.
One little bird. I have Brian Kelly in the shed. Obviously, we discussed him a little bit last week, and Coop did good in that pick, but he goes to Notre Dame, does okay. Obviously he takes the check, big check, LSU, but he really shouldn't be in the shed. He could build his own shed. I think it's $53 million on the buyout. So even though he sucked, especially this year, and they just kept losing, $53 million buyout. I wish I had a buyout at my company. They want to buy me out.
That's a mistake I'd like to make over and over again.
$35K, I'll take whatever. Let's
Get
go.
paid to
Buy
do
me out.
nothing. Yeah.
The other one's Kirk Cousins,
Oh.
who did cost us a pick, and I'm not in a Survivor anymore, but I do this other pool where you have to pick a lead pipe lock and blah, blah, blah. So I picked those. Kirk Cousins washed. This guy sucks. And
it wasn't even his fault.
You don't think it's his fault? Because no Drake London?
No, it was stupid because they literally brought him in just to hand the ball off. They never tried to
I know.
until the game was already decided. It's just stupid. It's just idiot. Anyway,
Can't they just throw it to Bijan Robinson out of the backfield?
by the way, and we missed it by literally a half a point, and I'm completely over it, as you can tell.
But anyway, so yeah, he's what I did say about him again. He's made plenty of money. He's had quite a career, but I think it's time to hang it up. Even though he said he wanted to be traded this week, so I don't think he's going to be traded after that performance. You fellas want to add anything to the shed? You got anything on mind? No pressure, but
Yeah, I could throw 2 things in there. Mm-hmm. First, the gathering rule for basketball. I think everyone probably saw that little clip where was the best player in Milwaukee started gathering it around the 3-point line, and all of a sudden, 7-8 steps later. I mean, that's just a joke, It's so how you defend that as a basketball player. So that gathering rule, they might need to adjust it down the road. And
he traveled so far. I think I saw him in the Phoenix airport the other day, just walking right through.
I walked in. You got that one right. And then, it really doesn't apply for the World Series now, but earlier in the playoffs, boy, that analytics is just making baseball hard to watch nowadays, especially when the starting pitcher goes an inning or two, and all of a sudden it's just, trying out pitcher after pitcher.
Sure.
Now I might be sounding old and stuff like that, but that's just not my cup of tea for baseball. But, so I throw analytics and don't get me wrong. It's great to use it, but maybe the overuse of it and just slowly relying on it is not for me.
That's right. Al, anything chip in, or you got something for the good
I'll just throw a legal thing at you.
Okay.
So, good city of Pasadena suing the poor UCLA Bruins for trying to move their games to SoFi. How can you blame them? Come on now.
Wow. Yeah, and they're getting sued by the city. That's tough. It's like a lease. Do they have a lease agreement?
They have a lease. So I think they're trying to sue them. Or there's a lot going on with it, but it's a couple $100 million is their threat.
Jeez.
So you just want to go to a nice stadium. Leave them alone.
That's like 3 buyouts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what about Club Dub? you guys want to start this time, Al or Art? You got something for Club Dub? Obviously, Art, we know that you have we call it the Art Murphy, Horseshoe Murphy Lounge. We've had plenty of characters go through there and have a time, so you might as well put somebody in there yourself.
And thank you for giving me a section in the Club Dub. And I felt like I've built a little nice wing in there with all my horse winnings. But after this past weekend, I probably should just thank Alistair and his father. I learned a lot of horse racing now throughout the years, but then his dad and Alistair took me to another level, and it paid off big time this past weekend. So I'm gonna throw Alistair into the Club Dub. Thank you, my friend, for all the wisdom you've taught me over the years on horse racing and life in general too. So thank you, Billy.
And I'm going to take myself out of Club Dub because that's all Art. So we all learn from each other and our experiences. So, as I said, we all learn from each other. So, or rather than that, Art, I'll bring you in too. How about that?
Yeah. The Love Fest. I mean, it is your namesake. You can get in there at any time. You've got a special skeleton key to get into Club Dub.
You're the man. Both
We're having a guy off.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
I'll go with, this is before the Blue Jays won.
Yeah,
but
I read this.
The Dodgers, Freddie Freeman hits the jack in the 18th inning. I mean, look, I was barely trying to stay awake. I'm trying to stay awake for this damn game, and I wake up, and then it crack, it finally goes out. I mean, it was one of those games. What do they use, 19 pitchers in that game? I think that's right. So that was, it's obviously World Series history, and he's done it again. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull him back to the top in the series. And then my guy, Tucker Kraft, man, this dude is a beast. He not only got tons of yards in that game on Sunday night, but he's leading the Green Bay Packers in receptions, yards, and touchdowns on the season so far, receiving. So, and he did hit the first-time TD, anytime TD for this guy, and that's what I've been doing, splitting the unit between. If I like a guy, I used to do just $10 on the anytime or the first touchdown. I've been splitting it 5 and 5 just to do it, but I hit 3 of them this weekend, so that was great. So it was, my guys for
Nice.
Who you got?
Nice. They almost ran out of baseballs in that game too. I should have put Major League Baseball in the bin. They were talking about, oh man, we're gonna run out of baseballs, which is just.
It was 280 or something. They had
I think they have 290, and they were in the 240s. I think when he finally got that game done. So yeah, just amazing. But I'm going Trey Yesevich. Obviously, he tallied 12 strikeouts over 7 innings in Game 5 last night, and he set the all-time rookie record for strikeouts in a World Series game. So that's pretty good. He'll never have to buy a drink in Toronto for the rest of his life. So shout out to Trey Yesevich. Also, he makes $57,000. What was it, his monthly salary, where it's they compared it to Shohei's, and it's $25 million or something crazy. So, and then Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is in Club Dub this week. He had 51 points earlier. I believe that was Tuesday night, which was a career high and a victory. And then he had the game-winning buzzer beater last night for the Lakers over the Timberwolves. So he's getting a bump in play because Luka's been out, and obviously LeBron's out. So Austin Reeves increasing his trade bait.
Yeah, he's Clutch City, baby. Let's get him on a good team.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we've got these gents on here for a particular reason. It is the Breeders' Cup this weekend, which starts. It's just Saturday, or is it over the weekend?
Friday and Saturday, yeah.
Right, Friday, Saturday. So we don't know anything, as we know. We've talked last season about this. We just turn it over to the experts. So let us know, what we're doing, when we should be watching, and who we should put the money on, guys.
Art, if you want to jump in and start us off, I'll follow you.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe just a general overview. Tomorrow, the Friday races tend to be the 2-year-olds, so it's the next generation of horses. And then on Saturday, that's when you get to the older horses, 3 and older, and they have a bunch of races, turf, dirt, short races, the longer, classic distance and stuff like that. And in this day and probably the Kentucky Derby in the United States are the 2 best days to gamble, because the purses are large, so you get the best horses there, but then you get some nice odds, because maybe the favorite on Breeders' Cup Day in a certain race, that horse might go off 3-1, but maybe at any other race day throughout the summer, it could be going off 2-5 or something like that. So there's chances and possibilities of making some decent amount of money at these races. So that's what really gets the bettors excited for these great fields of horses that kind of levels the playing field and creates better odds for the horses out there. So that's just a general overview. And Alistair and I decided to keep it short and quick. We do want to talk about the Classic, which goes off on Saturday, and we picked 2 other races that we'll dissect a little bit. And then maybe I might throw out just some horizontal plays if you want to do a pick 4 or 5, a couple other horses to keep in mind. There's different ways to bet. When I say horizontal, you could do some pick 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, go horizontally, winners across, or else you could go vertical and try to get exactas, trifecta, or superfecta. But let's start with the Breeders' Cup Classic, the big race on Saturday afternoon, kind of in the middle of the day due to A, the races being out on the West Coast, but then B, TV, they want to get in the prime time slot. So, Alistair, why don't you start off with the Breeders' Cup Classic?
All right. Well, I guess first thing probably everybody would want to know is that one that probably the favorite, Sovereignty, he was the winner of the Derby. He ended up getting scratched. Had a fever a couple days ago, so he's gone. I was probably going in a different direction anyway, so I'm a little sad he's gone because that would have been some extra money on him and create higher odds. Art and I, it's actually interesting to have a different perspective on this race, which I love and find interesting. Is just I've kind of come back around a couple times, and I just think the best horse in the country now is number 1, the Fierceness. It's Todd Pletcher's horse. I don't think if he's on his A game, there's any horse in the field that can kind of stay with him. Now, as Art will tell you when we get into this and dissect it a little bit more, he definitely has a tendency to have a hard time to put back-to-back good races together. And if you look, his last race actually was probably one of his best races of his career, but it was at the same racetrack where the race is going to be on Saturday, which I think is a big benefit. He has drawn the 1 pole, which he had some trouble with last time, which wasn't great. But I just, looking at some of his workouts up to it, I just have a funny feeling he's gotten older, gotten stronger, and I think he's hopefully going to be pushing back some of those tendencies to kind of do 1 good, 1 bad, 1 good, 1 bad. So my hope with him is that he's going to run up to his, if he basically goes back to the race he ran in his last one, I don't think there's anybody else in the field that can kind of stay with him. Now, that said, people will tell you this is probably one of the best classics they've had for decades. If you're to tell me there's 9 of horses, pretty much if you told me 7 of them win, any of those 7, I wouldn't shake my head and go, where did that come from? So it is fairly wide open. I just think when it's that wide open, you're going to have to go with your opinion of if the horse you like runs its best race on the date, is that the best race? Will his best race beat everybody else's? And I think for Fierceness, it will. Now, I think you're probably looking at 2-1 to 5-2. As Art would tell you, and you probably know it from me talking last time, that's not the type of race I really get too involved in. I don't see a lot of value there. I'll probably do some verticals within like exactas, things of that nature, just to have an interest in it. But to me, that would be the one that I would be kind of keen on. If you wanted somebody with a little bit of higher odds that might have a little bit of a shot, a horse that I actually liked a little bit earlier in the year, Baeza. I think he's grown and gotten a lot stronger. He's a 3-year-old, but if you actually look, you can see he's actually a May 3-year-old, which is a fairly late birthday. So those horses will tend to develop a little bit later as well. He's looking a lot more like physically. I saw some of the results, I was listening late last night to some of the, what they call them, like breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, where they're talking about some of the horses as they go out to work out in the morning. And one of the women who follows a lot of the big races said, when Baeza stood next to Sovereignty and Journalism when they were at Saratoga, they looked as far more striking, imposing figures. And she goes, it's kind of amazing to see how much he's grown, and they all kind of look like very big, imposing. So that's kind of consistent with what you would think with a May fold would be, which is they're getting bigger a little bit later. And considering he was in fairly close proximity to those, another stride he had beaten Journalism at the Derby. So, I think there's some that wouldn't be the worst pick, and especially you'll get 10 or 12 to 1 on them on the day, I'd say. It wouldn't be a bad backup pick if you're looking for something for a little bit more value. So those are my 2, Art. Go ahead now. Tell the people who's going to win.
I wish I was that good, but I'm not that good. No, I completely agree with what Alistair said. He broke it down, as well as anyone could. I'm going to take it from a different perspective. Alistair raised those couple issues that I would, that I'm thinking about. But the horse that's catching my eye to win is, and I was going to actually bet him to win even if Sovereignty was in the race. It had been a stretch because Sovereignty truly is was the best horse, just a beast of a horse. But I was looking through the 8-horse Mind Frame. Top Puncher has 3 horses in this race: Fierceness, Mind Frame, and Antiquarian. And Mind Frame, he said he called this horse a generational talent. And the way he was looking at it is his first, I think, 7 or 8 races, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, first 7 races, he's won 5 out of the 7 races. And the 2 races he lost, he probably should have won. It was pretty early on, and he ran against Dornoch last year. And he come down stretch. He looked like he was going to pass Dornoch, but then he got a little bit green and started going out to the grandstand, and then he kind of re-engaged. But by the time he re-engaged, it was too late. I mean, that horse could have been 7-0. But then in the very last race out in Saratoga, the Jockeys Club race, his jockey fell off the horse. Irad got bumped, and actually Irad was on White Barrio, I think, for a little bit of that race, and he tried to get back onto Mind Frame, and then he fell off, and actually that messed up Sierra Leone because he had to slow down and kind of jump over Irad and not trample him. It was just a crazy, crazy race that afternoon. But Mind Frame is, this horse is always, he's a solid horse, and he's always popping up in there. You're gonna have some good odds because there's some, So I went up on the positive. The negatives about Mind Frame is since he didn't race, he tossed his jockey got tossed off. He didn't get challenged in that race. He just kind of jogged around the track. And a lot of bettors don't like that. They would like to see a good run in there to build some foundation going to the next race. So he's been, if you want to say, if you look to the race before that, his last real race was in June of this year. And because of that, that's a long layoff, and that kind of spooks a lot of folks. And that's why his odds, at least morning line odds, are 10-1. I still don't. I think they're going to come down off the 10-1. They'll probably like more 5 or 6-1, my guess, but who knows? So that's spooking folks out. And then secondly is kind of what Alistair said. If Fierceness runs the race that he can, just throw aside that he runs really good, and sometimes he fades the next race, and then the next race he runs good. But if he runs the race he could run, no one's going to beat Fierceness. That's, I agree with Alistair on that. But I'm kind of betting that I'm going to take the stance that Fierceness ran his eyeballs out in the last race, took a little bit out of him, and he won't be ready, which probably might not be a good way of looking at it because everyone's targeting the Breeders' Cup Classic who's entered in here. So, that team wouldn't have ran his eyeballs out. So I think Alistair probably has it right, but I'm going to take a chance on Mind Frame 8 to win. And then Sierra Leone to come second. That's going to be my straight exacta.
Okay. And guys, this is in Southern California or whatever, right? So there's no real weather to worry about. Like we had that in the Derby where it got sloppy.
Perfect.
More earthquakes than anything else.
Okay. There you go.
So,
all right. You guys wanted to go over a couple other races too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. One race each. Why don't you go for Alistair?
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just touch on just so we can go through it. I'm going to touch on a couple races. I'm not going to go too in depth in it. There's one that I really like. I'll let everyone know that, but I'm going to throw out a couple just for interest in case people are watching. Art will know that I kind of like my occasional long shot that we can kind of cheer home. And, the issue with a long shot is, right, more times than not, you're going to lose on it. But the reality is, if you find something that you like or you see maybe some value, you play value. That's kind of Art will tell you what I try and do a lot more. I'm not really someone who's trying to chase an even money. I'm trying to chase value within odds. So to give everybody just one or two in particular, I'll give you two. One is actually not in one of the Breeders' Cup, but it's the first race on the Saturday. It's actually a mile and 16th on the turf. And I haven't even talked to Art about this. There's a horse I've been watching a little bit for a while. He hasn't really come to form, but I kind of just have a feeling that he's getting there. and his name is, appropriately for this podcast, Big Bet Jaffa. So right now he's listed at 30-1 in the morning line. He'll probably go off closer to 40. If your people or anybody listening, I think it's one of those you go ahead and you do a win show on. Even at show, bet if he comes in, he'll probably pay somewhere around 9 or 10-1. And so to me, that's a good value in there. He's going to be closing late, so even if he's not there necessarily a good candidate for the win, I think 8 or 9-1 on a show is still pretty good value. So that's one I would throw out there for everyone. Going to the 5th race, it's actually kind of, Art was talking about how we kind of influence each other, and I was looking at some value. This is the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and traditionally this is actually kind of one of my better races. I do pretty well in this race most years. And I do think probably there's a couple kind of open for the win. There's a horse called Reef Runner who I like at 6s. But the one I want to kind of give out there as a possible outsider is the number 11, Bucanero Fuerte. And it's kind of funny. It's an English horse. It actually has some speed. Well, it's an Irish and English horse. I think mostly Irish. I take it back, but it's an English trainer. I think he's actually going to show well. He's running against good competition out there. But what I kind of caught my eye a little bit, and Art and I talked about it, is they actually put a very good California jockey on him instead of bringing over one of the Europeans, Rispoli. And Rispoli, I think, knows the turf course pretty well over there, especially in these sprint kind of races, and has a lot of experience. So, I think there's something to be said for them kind of acknowledging, especially in these turf race sprints, you kind of need that knowledge. I think a lot of the European jockeys struggle because the pace early isn't as strong in a lot of those European races. They're more comfort behind. And on these tighter courses, which means like there's a turn, like they're only running 5 furlongs in this, which is 5/8 of a mile. In Europe, 5/8 of a mile is a straight shoot. Like there's no turns. Here, we're going to have a bend as part of that. And so you need somebody with experience at least running, over the years coming out the Breeders' Cup, or an American jockey. So I think at 20-1, it's a really good price for a good horse with a good jockey on it, and just kind of more of a little bit of a gut play and kind of a little bit of experience. It's worth taking a shot at. So again, those are kind of my price plays. And then just my last one, who I actually really like, it's actually in the last of the day, which I believe is the 12th race. Yeah. The 12th race is the Philly and Mare Turf, which is 1 mile and 3/8. It's a 1/8 of a mile shorter than the male version of the race. There's a horse in there called Cinderella's Dream, which is a Charles Appleby horse. Had a few races out here, ran in the race, finished second by a half length, charging last year. She's a 4-year-old now, so a little bit older, a little bit stronger. She's still at 92. I think because of the quality of the race, you're going to get 4-1 on it. And I think 4-1 on her is a really good value. That'll probably be one of my, I'll probably try and team her up in a few doubles and triples or pick threes, and then probably do some exactas with her. But if we're looking for one for the day, Cinderella's Dream is probably one I'm going to be anchoring a lot of things around. So there you go, Art. I've gone through my Saturday for you, so I'll turn it over to you now. That's all I got.
All right. Well, just to skim through a couple races as well. Race 6, Imagination's been catching my eye. It's the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I mean, it's Bob Baffert in his backyard, and he used to be a quarter horse guy, and a lot of his horses are bred for speed, and then he tries to get some distance on them for the classic, the big time races. So for a sprint out on the West Coast, Imagination number 7 is catching my eye. But I'll be rooting for Copian, a filly against the boys. That always catches my heart too. So, but she's probably going to go off, probably lower odds. But Imagination's kind of catching my eye for race 6. Race 7, the Distaff. That's the one I looked into, and I'll keep this short and sweet to keep this thing rolling along. But there's a couple of horses. I saw Nitrogen out in Saratoga, and she came off of this is the ladies' horses, mares and the mares, three and older. And actually, the 3-year-olds don't win this much. Win this race as much as the older horses that do. Okay. But Nitrogen's the 3-year-old that caught my eye out in Saratoga when I was out there for the Belmont Racing Festival, and she just blew away the competition. But then she lost to Jinjin last time. I don't know if it was a one-off or not, but maybe nitrogen could kind of catch it again. A lot of people have been talking about Celia, but she usually doesn't win the races, but she might be there somewhere in the money line. So if you're playing some verticos, you might keep that horse in mind. Seismic Beauty is Bafford's horse. My race horse is the ownership, and that, with my race horse, there's a bunch of owners. It's kind of like owning some stocks, and
usually not a good micro shares. Right? Value usually goes down on those stocks.
Yeah, because all the owners are making bets on that horse, so there probably won't be much value on Seismic Beauty. But everyone's talking about that horse, but I'll probably go against her. And then the other two horses that caught my eye a little bit for that race is Darth Vader and for some long odds, the 13 horse Regulate, and then the Argentine horse, the number 2 horse. So there's a bunch of horses I'm throwing out there because sometimes in these, if you do horizontal bets, you want to sometimes play a number of angles because there could be an upset, and you want to throw some long odds in there. So I threw some favorites in there and some long odds. So the horses I'm looking at are 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, and 13 for race 7, the distaff.
Art, I'm kind of with you just with Darth Vader, and actually when I was listening again to some of the podcasts, sadly late at night. The bad thing is, Jim, I was just telling Art, this is probably the least I've actually looked into Breeders' Cup just because the work days have been just insane recently. So, but the good thing is on the way home I can listen to some of the podcasts and listen to some of the people who are out there, and they were all just saying that she looks like an absolute monster right now. So just the only thing that would concern me a little bit is out in the 12 post is tough for this type of a race. But again, it wouldn't necessarily dissuade me if, we thought that she's looking as good as she is, and she definitely has some form to back her up, like Art said. So she's definitely one to, I would say, take a look at on the day.
Great. Then one last race 11. I mean, obviously this is kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, but I'll mention it just in case you guys are, for your listeners. The Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Again, it's going to be a pretty fast run race. I mean, the 2 Baffert horses are probably, Citizen Bull, who ran last year in the juvenile and won the juvenile. It cost me money, but and then Nisos, which I really like. Those are 2 Baffert horses that are probably be ready to rip, ready to go, and probably will win the race, is my guess for race number 11. Do you want to throw out that turf race at all, Alistair, or just leave that one alone? The race 8 right before the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, I actually do like one in that one a lot, actually. I forgot I skipped over that one. Number 3, Amalok. That's kind of actually probably the other one, along with Cinderella Dream. Those are going to be my 2 bookends for the day. I think it's an improving horse. It's going to like the firm ground. If you look at its last race, actually, they put it in a 1 3/4 race. It did well to about the final furlong, which would be about the 1.5 mile marker, which is about here. I think this has been the goal for this horse the whole year. They haven't listed at 10s. I don't think he'll be there. I think you'll get 7 or 8s on the day, but I still think that's a good value. And given where they actually have the starting gate, the number 3 is a good post. I think there's a lot to like with number 3 as well. So Amalok and Cinderella Dream are kind of the 2 that I'll be keen on for the day. Thanks. Forgot about that one, Art. Cool. And then everybody would get mad at me if that's the only one that would win, and I'd come back and say, well, I had the big one. I forgot to get it.
That's the Art Murphy special when he tells us, oh, yeah, by the way, I had a future on a horse that I didn't even mention in our Kentucky Derby segment. And by the way, thanks for getting the lights on there, Alistair.
Do you know the funny thing is I haven't even changed anything. There's something with these cameras, so.
It just adjusted.
Yeah.
Do you got some other notes here, Art, or you want to mention this or this?
Yeah, thanks for the reminder, Jim. So my cousin, who had Monet's Magic early in the year, that horse, he ran some health issues, so he's on the farm enjoying the good life. He never won a stakes race, so he won't breed, but he's living the good life with one of the owners. But that's an update on Monet's Magic. But my cousin and Devant went to the sales and bought 2 horses. I showed one of the horses' sales there when I was at Rivers one night. He's like, flatter. He's like, this horse is not going to do anything. Or I mean, you did say that, but you weren't that excited. I don't know. I just say what
I don't like that sire. He's just a big, strong horse. I mean, let's put you this way. This horse is running fast. Do you know how people talk about like a kid's really good at sports? And you look at the father and you look at the mother and you go, you must take after the mother side of the family. They should be looking at the mare because it's not flatter.
Well, my cousin bought 2 horses, and one is off the flatter as a sire. That horse is named Piercy's Bar. And that horse is going to be racing. She's going to be racing in race 7 on Friday, one of the juvenile races. I forget which one. And actually, I was looking at her speed figures. She's got a pretty good chance to maybe win or be somewhere in the money line. She lost to Tommy Joe 2 races ago. She actually beat that horse the last race, but then bumped her. She got a little green and bumped her, and got turned down, or whatever the term route is, and pulled down to second from first. So and she blew by that horse. So I'm checking out her speed figures. That keep an eye on Piercy Bar. And then my cousin's second horse is the Beast, Street Beast, race 10, the last race on Friday, the big juvenile turf race, which is like the highlight of the day. Mm-hmm. And that horse is, won 2 races in a row at Kentucky Downs. Alistair made a good point earlier. He's mentioned like horses that come up from Kentucky Downs, historically hasn't done well. But then I was listening that the Kentucky Down races are getting better now over time. There's better quality horses racing out there. So I was looking at the speed figures for my cousin's second horse, the Beast. I'm a little bit worried. They're a little bit slower than the top horses. He would need a jump in the points, but maybe he'll catch at the bottoms of some of these exotic bets. So, but I'll be rooting for Street Beast and Piercy's Bar on tomorrow.
Art, just so you know, no horse sired by Flatter has ever won a Breeders' Cup race.
Don't bet Piercy Bar to win then.
Third place is the best it's done. So there you go. Maybe to show.
Yeah, exactly. Street Beast, I love it. All right. Well, I don't have much to add here. Coop, anything to add on this or questions for the boys?
No, I just listen. I don't know shit about horse racing, so I just sit back and listen.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. We also, before you guys drop, we want to talk about you guys a little bit in the Circa Survivor contest. You guys joined for the first time. Maybe give a little background of why you joined, and then secondly, you don't have to go into too much detail, but obviously you're still alive, unlike some of us on the podcast. So how's it been so far? I went on. You don't want to jinx it, whatever. We want to tell you what your experience so far. Have you enjoyed it?
So maybe I'll give the history, and then we can talk about how we're feeling. So like the weekend before the big trip to Vegas, Alistair sent a text message to to me, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to do a pick 6? It's like the last racing day at Saratoga." I'm like, "Yeah, count me in." I think it was the Sunday races too. I forget, Saturday or Sunday, one of those days. Mm-hmm. And so I sent him for each race, horses that I liked. And then I said, "Hey, Alistair, if you want to use my horses, go for it. If you don't, whatever." And then Alistair, went through and did his handicapping and put, had horses he liked. So he put a ticket together. I think it was $310 for a pick 6. And I won't bore you, but two of the legs of the pick 6s he singled. He used one horse that I like, Ted Nafi, a 2-year-old juvenile that'll be racing this Friday, and probably the winner of that race. And then I forget the Irish horse, but Alistair had major huevos and singled the last leg, the sixth leg, and called it. And ice cold. That horse was like had the pocket trip right on the rail, right behind the leaders, and then right when he came down the final turn, he just had it. And I had no doubt. He just had so much energy, and the jockey looked confident. And I was like, I was at my country club. It was Labor Day weekend. I was like standing up, and I wanted to jump up and start screaming, but I did a big yes. And we pulled off a pretty nice win on that pick 6. So then nice. I asked Alistair, "Hey, would you want to partner up and since we have a little change in our pocket, do you want to pony up and enter to the Circa contest?" So he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." But he only had one ticket. He's like, "We could be called pick 6 since it has two terms of art. One for the football thing, pick 6, and then the other thing for our, winning our pick 6 bet there." But then since I did get to Vegas that early and Jim was out there Thursday, to make things easier, we're lined up with Side Action, and that's
a better name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, trust me, when you guys win and you win the 18 mil and all that, you're going to get the pick 6 shirts. You're going to do all that. You're going to do what you got to do. So that's awesome. So how's it been
everything
so far?
Side Action was.
Well, yeah, there'll be some Side Action. So wow, and then obviously you've been doing well, but what's it been like? You guys, our experience, we had 2 very close. Well, one we lost, the other one was the overtime with the Dallas. You guys have kind of coasted a little bit more than us, but has it been fun or a little too nerve-wracking to watch these games?
I think it's been fun for me. Honestly, I don't really find it nerve-wracking. I said to Art, I'm like, it is what it is. I mean, that's the way we kind of look at this. I mean, I enjoy it just because it gives me a reason to kind of watch some football here and there. Again, as I was telling you, I've just been swamped at work, so I don't have a ton of time. But I think the best part about it, though, is Art and I are good complements to each other. We look at a lot of things, and we've kind of noticed even from the horse racing, we look at things differently. And it's always good to get someone else's perspective, especially someone who you trust. And then you get to see it from their perspective, and then between the two of you can kind of come together and just come up with some suggestions of like, hey, here's what we should do. And so, I mean, even with that, like, I don't think Art and I have ever like even, I don't want to say have a disagreement, but we're all just kind of like, we put together kind of, here's our thoughts, and then they're like, yeah, what do you think? And he'll say that, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, or I'll say this one looks good. And he's like, yeah, let's go with that one. So I mean, I think our thinking comes together at the end anyway, the same way we just come at it from different views. And I think the other thing that's kind of fun is, trying to lay these things out in the future, right? Because you always have to really take a look at, like, if nothing else, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then kind of make your way backwards from there. You also have to then at times see injuries like, Cincinnati. So you're saying that's definitely something we can maybe pull back for later in the year, especially if everybody gets healthy. And it's just, we have some different theories. I've told Art, like, I haven't done one of these in probably 13 or 14 years. The last one left a bitter taste in my mouth. We did it in a local one here in Chicago, and I think it was however many, I think there was 400 people in it. And after week 2, there was 35 of us left.
Yeah.
And I kind of made it back. I told Art, I don't remember what it was like 11 or 12 or 13, and there were 7 of us left. And one of the things I told Art is I like to try and hold teams back as much as possible. Sure. Especially in the beginning, try and get some of the, I call middle of the road teams out of the way.
Yep.
And I held back the Giants. I think it was the year they won one of the years they won the Super Bowl, and they were either 10-1 or 11-0, and they were playing a terrible team at home, but it was a division rival. And I think back then they were like 10 or 11 points favorites, which was, 15, 20 years. That was almost unheard of. Like, it's now all the time. And they ended up blowing the game at home, and I got eliminated. And I was the only one who had them still left. Everybody had used them early. So that kind of goes back to that idea of, what, it is what it is. You just kind of put it in. Same thing for this weekend. I mean, we've already said who we're taking. I mean, we're taking the Rams at home. So if you're watching this on replay later and you see they lost, well, Art and I, it is what it is. But, you just have to put your strategy together, follow your strategy, and then, the pieces fall together, they fall together. Art and I feel fairly confident. I say this now, knocking on wood. I like our chances of getting to Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving Day is when everything kind of just becomes a little bit more of a crapshoot, even if you're holding back some of the teams, just because it's such a funny day. You have such rivalries going on, and I just think at that point forward, it's going to be stepping on landmines, and you're just hoping some of them are duds and some of them, they don't blow up on you. So anyway, Art, I talk too much, but that's my take on it anyway.
What I gathered from that is that Jim and Steve do not have a relationship as good as you and Art do. That's what I gathered from that is, because you guys can put your minds together, come up with good decisions, and then, unfortunately my co-host here in action, they struggle to put their strengths together and pick winning teams. They end up like arguing over the right game and then picking the wrong team. They do that so often.
I think there's also hard because if you guys follow this stuff, I'll be honest, I don't really follow a lot of this. Mm-hmm. And so some of my intuition is based off of, more 40 years of watching stuff as opposed to watching. And you guys know I couldn't even tell you the name. So I'll tell you, like, wait, what wide receiver do they have? So Art's probably a lot more up on that than that. I more look at kind of, as I said, different strategies of trying to take, teams at home if you can and non-divisional, stuff like that. Because you just see the numbers kind of bear that out, that's probably going to provide you with the best road to success. Obviously, you can get tripped up or crazy things can happen, but that's kind of, that's the hope anyway. Yeah. Sorry, Art, I keep talking.
But I mean, about a month, I've told Art this before. We discussed it a couple of weeks ago when the field started getting trimmer because it was sailing along until the week we got hit, and then this last week a lot of people lost. But you get to Thanksgiving, you can monetize it. One way or another, you guys can figure out a way to get your money out. Or James Hedgerton III can help you. I'm a very good hedger, as Coop will tell you. He doesn't like my Cooplytics on that, but you might as well take some money out of it, right? You're going to get to that point. I mean, the value now is like $8,800, which is great. But if you get down to the final, 50 people, I mean, Jesus, you got to start thinking about that. So, what about you, Art? Just enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, I won't repeat what Alistair said because everything he said is like how I feel as well. And lucky to have Alistair as a partner, and glad we're fighting through this together, and we'll give it our best shot and see what happens. Just on a side note, remember that first Carnage week? Was it week 5 when so many crazy upsets went there? I remember I threw out a couple of things, and I was looking back. I don't think any of my suggestions worked. Alistair was on the Lions pretty early on, and then at the end, we had the meeting minds and said, let's go with the Lions. And Alistair, kudos to you to get us through that Carnage week of week 5. So you're the man.
Well, yeah, but you know what? This is where the luck comes in too, because we were looking at the Rams as one of the teams. Just you mentioned, I said it's not bad, but I actually, we talked about looking ahead, said I think New Orleans is pretty bad this year. I said the Rams have them at home in week, what are we now, 9 or 10? I said, why don't we just hold them back to then? So it wasn't like there was this thought that, this could happen. It was just more, let's save them for that. And so that's where you have to have a little bit of luck as well. So,
but divisional rivalry, you mentioned that too, so you did that. So, well, great. Well, best of luck in that. Best of luck in the Breeders' Cup this weekend. You're the best.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. We really enjoyed it. Good luck with all your bets out there. Podcast dollars.
I could remember those outsiders.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
There it is.
We're back, everybody. We'll try to make this quick. It was a solid segment there. Hopefully you'll win some money on the Breeders' Cup and beyond. Let's go through college football a little quickly. We'll say that you had a much better week this week. Let's start there. Nice work.
Yeah.
3-1 this week, and we lost with SMU, but other than that, you did really well. My little notes, we can do it fast. The Sooners are frauds. That's my whole thing. They're frauds. Memphis got it done against South Florida, which was exciting. We talked about Vandy, and they have another big game this week.
Oh, yeah.
BYU, man, this team's still getting it done.
The Mormons,
and then A&M, dude. I mean, I did not bet them on the title, but they probably could be in the title hopes now. Probably a game that we should probably put a little future on there, a little cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
So this week, week 10, we're kind of wrapping up the college football season pretty quickly here. You've got Miami at SMU. Miami's 10th ranked. They're 10.5-point favorites on the road here. 15.5-point total. This is on 11 a.m. on Saturday. Does SMU have a shot here? I mean, they got to knock them off, but Miami's kind of pissed off in the other week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Miami is going to win out from this point forward. I think a loss is just what they needed, and SMU is nowhere near the team they were last year. No.
Yeah. What about Vandy at Texas? This is going to be an interesting one. Vandy's been really good at home. They're 2.5-point dogs at Texas, 45.5-point total, also 11 in the morning. Texas obviously turned the corner against the Sooners, but I'm not sure how good the Sooners are. Vandy's higher ranked, but that doesn't mean jack. So what do you think? Think Texas defense can take care of that quarterback with Vandy?
Yeah, this is one of my picks this week, and it's actually up to 3.5 now. But I love Texas. I think the defense is in a good spot. If you would have done this game 7 weeks ago, preseason, it'd be probably Texas minus 21.5, give or take. Sure. So I just think you're getting a lot of value at Texas. And again, their defense is really good. And Vandy has just gone through a gauntlet of a schedule. And I think it's going to catch up to them here. If Vandy were at home, I think it might be different. But going on the road to Austin, I just think it's a tough spot.
It is a tough spot. You had Oklahoma, as we discussed. I don't know if they're still ranked because they probably shouldn't be, at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 3.5-point favorites at home, 55.5-point total. This is at night, 6:30 p.m. Central. Can you go any other way than Tennessee, or do you think Oklahoma has something left?
No, I think they're done. And Tennessee's wearing the all blacks. I think it's going to be it's Josh. It's the Tennessee head coach against his alma mater too, which is kind of fun. Yeah, Heupel. Thank you. I was going to say Kipple, but I knew that wasn't wrong. Heupel. Josh Heupel revenge game maybe, but I just think Oklahoma played some really bad quarterbacks, and we all thought their defense was amazing, and then they might, I think to your point, they might be fraudsters. Yeah.
And then Cincinnati at Utah. We love this at night, right?
Oh, yeah.
7-point favorites for Utah at home, 56.5-point total. Can you look any other way? Utah at night. This is
no. Don't overthink it. Yeah, don't overthink it. It's Utah at night. they still have a chip on their shoulder. They still kind of control their own destiny a little bit with Texas Tech losing last week.
Sure.
So, Utah, hammer it, go to bed happy. Yeah, you heard it here first.
All right, well, rundown. You already said you like Texas. You had 3.5 versus Vandy. I didn't state that, so maybe it's floated up a little bit. So you still like them.
Yep.
What else you got?
I got Texas Tech minus 7.5 against Kansas State. They're at Kansas State this weekend. Kansas State's coming off a big win against Kansas, where they're actually underdogs. And I just think Texas Tech, even with a backup quarterback, is a little upset. I think they're a better football team. I think they go take care of business. Kansas State probably a good letdown spot. They've kind of had the season from hell anyway. So, good punt spot for them. I love Cal. They're getting 5.5 versus Virginia. I cannot remember the quarterback's name for Cal. It's a mouthful. But Virginia has played 3 straight overtime games.
I know, and they've won them all.
And they've won them all. They barely beat UNC last week, and UNC is like, I don't know, with Wisconsin as like the worst power forward teams you can find.
Yep.
So I like Cal this week, and then I tried to get away from it, man. I really do. I try to get away. I can't. I'm going to take Ohio State minus 20.5 because I just don't know how many points Penn State's going to score. So I could see this being 35-10 real quick, 44-14 in that kind of neighborhood. I don't even know if they get to 14, to be honest with you. So I hammer the Buckeyes. They're at home, and I think they're going to make a statement.
And they're kind of a dead man walking without the coach there. So
yeah, Penn State is,
Yeah, I was going to mention back with UVA, you said they beat UNC. I mean, I guess give Belichick some credit. He went for 2 in the win, right? And that's how they lost the game. They actually they scored the touchdown, went for 2, and got stuffed, which was, seeing his face being sad was not too bad. All right, let's go NFL quickly. It was even worse than last week for the Favorites. The Favorites destroyed it, 11-2 on the week, which makes it over 57% on the season. We talked about that angle of 3.5 point spreads to 4 is now up to almost 74% covering, and then the overs 10-3, dude. I mean, it's like, okay, maybe it'll flip around, but I'm not sure. I can skip this section on the teams. I'll update that next week, but not too surprising in who's covering and who's not right now. High level game wise, the Jets finally got a win. We knew it was going to happen.
We told you here first. Yeah,
you heard it here. It was one of the picks we had. It's that action, which is good, and of course that's nice to see them win. 502 yards of offense with Justin Fields. Good for him. He wasn't even supposed to start, so good for him. We discussed it earlier. The Finns won. Unbelievable. Well, you did have the handicap last week, though, to your credit. They delivered. The Broncos destroyed Dallas. It really wasn't close. It was close in the first half, and then it just kind of kept going. And that Dallas defense could not stop Denver, who hasn't been that good. Colts keep winning. They're 7-1. It's amazing. That was Alan Art's pick for Survivor. And then the second half, we already talked about, Kraft, but the second half, 28 points for the Pack against the Steelers, who were winning at the half. So let's jump into Week 9. We've got the byes are the Browns, the Bucks, the Eagles, and the Jets. So that's interesting there. So we've got Thursday tonight, Baltimore at Miami. Is Lamar going to start? He's going to start, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Lamar's in.
Yeah, I should have put him in the bin. Fucking or John Harbaugh. What a chotch. Like, God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, full practice, except it was the practice squad. Are you back on?
It was the scout team, is what it was.
Yeah, scout team. Right. Full practice with scout team.
Yeah.
Now they ended up winning that game, but crazy move on the line. So they're 7.5 point favorites, and maybe a lot. I mean, Miami, we'll see. I mean, obviously Tua could see out of both eyes now, or is he still?
No, they're dead. They're dead. This is a hammer to the Baltimore, and don't even think about it spot. Yeah, this is literally the don't overthink it play of the week right here.
Yeah, I do like under though, because if you're right that they're going to crush them, I don't know if Miami's going to score that many points, even though Baltimore's defense has been bad. They've got most of their starters back. So okay, I'm not against that. We don't have an international game again. This is great. 2 weeks in a row. Love it. Let's start with the Bears at Cincinnati. In the contest, the Bears are 3-point favorites, 51.5 point total. It's at noon Central. The market's at 2.5 right now, so it looks like they're expecting money on the Bears. Originally, I kind of like Cincinnati here, but I can't do it. It's a stay away. You like the Bears?
I do. Yeah.
Do you still like him at the 3 for the contest?
Yeah, Joe Flacco is questionable too.
Yeah.
The statue gets less moving, if that's even possible.
Yeah.
I just and their defense is giving up 5.5 yards a carry. Even if you don't get DeAndre Swift, you're going to get Monangai. Monangai looks like he's been running pretty well.
Yep.
And I don't expect them to. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to overthink it. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to run the football. They're going to take care of business. I think everybody is looking to bounce back and they have a point to prove. And if they're the team we think they could be, this is the good spot to do it in. So this is more to do with how bad the Bengals defense is. I love the over in this game if you like.
Yeah. The total over makes sense. Yeah, last week was interesting. The Bears were in that game. 2 late interceptions in the fourth quarter killed them, right? Yeah. And that's what.
And they can't score touchdowns, man. Yeah. That's what kills this team more than anything. Is they cannot. They are allergic to scoring touchdowns.
Well, I don't think they run enough in the red zone. You know, I mean, like they run between the 20s and they get in there and they kind of get cute. And I don't know. And obviously Swift isn't a power back. They need.
And Caleb off script is terrible. Once he gets out of rhythm or out of sorts, he's not looking very good right now.
Yeah. All right, so we've got Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit is 8.5-point favorites, 48.5-point total. J.J. McCarthy, we didn't talk about this. We probably should put KOC in the shed because poor friggin' Wentz. I mean, it was like
he's got one arm.
We were wincing watching Wentz. It was just rough, just taking punishment every play, and now he has season-ending surgery. So you've got J.J. McCarthy starting, which I don't know what that looks like. I like Detroit here to lay.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got him at 9.5. I think the contest is 8.5.
You hammer them. Yes, you hammer them. This is and Detroit has covered like 5 straight against Minnesota too. They have owned the Vikings. So
they're at home.
Are you going to get the J.J. McCarthy that sucks for 7 quarters? Or are you going to get J.J. McCarthy who's good for 1 quarter? Like I don't like it. I don't. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. I have a future on the under for the Browns, the Dolphins, and the Vikings, and I think the Vikings were like 7.5. So. I am a Vikings hater from this point forward because the other 2 ones are looking pretty good. So
I told you I did the ladder on Minnesota. If they get down to 5 wins on the season, I win like $300. I mean, because I did them at each level.
Yeah.
Like 7.5. I was like, I think they were 8 or 9.5.
I started at 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 8.5, 7.5, under. 4 or 5 points. Now.
Okay.
All right, the other kind of lay the wood. You got Green Bay hosting Carolina, 13.5-point favorites on a short total of 44 points. The numbers don't say it should be this big, but I don't like Carolina on the road and Green Bay. It's just, look, we got the Green Bay in the second half that we wanted. If they complete a whole game like that, then they should roll this, but it's a big number for the NFL. I understand why you wouldn't take it. But I can't take the points there with Carolina.
Yeah, tell it to the Bills last week, big number. Green Bay, I think Green Bay is rounding into form. They're a young team, which means that they're probably going to shit the bed. They're not going to lose to Carolina, but they're only going to win by 6. That's what that means.
Yeah.
So now that I actually said it out loud, I might actually lean toward Carolina just for the inexperience factor. They're going to play with their food. They're at home. They might dick around for 3 quarters. You never know. So
they've done it. They've done it in the past.
Yeah, I would stay away from this game.
Is it still Dalton or is Bryce Young back?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I'll find that out when you're previewing this game.
Yeah. Next game's a tough game. 2 great defenses, Denver and Houston. Houston, it was interesting. Denver opened as a 1.5-point favorite. Houston got bet heavily, so it went to 1.5 on the Houston side. A 3-point move, 39.5-point total. I liked Houston as a dog at home. I'm not loving them as a favorite at home. All the experts love Denver. I understand why. Houston's offense sucks, but that defense is so damn good. So I would lean Houston. They're not in my top 5. I know it's against the experts, but that defense is playing another level. And if Stroud does anything, my thing is too, I don't trust Bo Nix against pressure. So I just think he's going to have a tough day. I don't know if Houston can score. So this is definitely under game. I can see this as like a 10-7, 13-9 type game. But I'm assuming you like Denver in this one.
Yeah, I like Denver. I was looking for Bryce. Andy Dalton had a right thumb injury last week too.
Oh, okay.
And Young's right ankle on the.
These guys.
Yeah, so they're both. Dalton was limited during Thursday's full practice, while Young was a full participant for the 2nd day in a row. So it looks like Bryce Young is probably going to play. But back to your Denver-Houston question. Yeah, I like Denver. I think I'm starting to. I don't know if I'm starting to lose faith in Houston.
Right.
I just think that like they're gonna. I don't know. They just don't have a lot going for them. I guess their young wide receivers look pretty good. Like Jaden Hicks looks good.
Yeah, he played good.
And Woody Marks looks pretty good, but I just don't think they're going to be able to run. If they're going to win, they have to run the football against Denver. And I just don't see that happening. So
yeah, I think they'll get Nico back, which helps. But Nico's coming up.
Yeah, Pat Surtain's going to be out for a game, right? So maybe that helps.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Is maybe they just need one guy if Nico's healthy, But this is going to be a slugfest. Not going to be pretty. Of course, watch it be 40-41 final score. Atlanta at New England. New England's a 5.5-point favorite, 45-point total. Drake May for president again. Scott Hansen is like, orgasming over this guy every time on Red Zone. But I don't like it. I know that Atlanta sucked last week. They really did. But I don't know. I don't think they're that bad of a football team. So I would take the points here with Atlanta.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think there's a rat here. I think this should be a lot higher compared to how the last two games have gone for these teams.
Right.
So I think somebody in Vegas knows something. So, yeah, I would take the 5.5 and
that's right.
Sweat it out.
They're kind of one of these teams. They play good for a while, play good. I mean,
everybody. So you expect them to play well. They don't. Yeah.
Well, the Patriots also they've played nobody, right? Mm-hmm. Since the Bills, they've played nobody. So if the defense can play half decent in Atlanta, then they'll be okay. San Francisco with the Giants. San Francisco's a 2.5-point favorite, 48.5-point total. Not sure who's going to play quarterback yet. Purdy has been ruled in. I don't know if it matters on this one. I kind of like the Giants in this game. I know we lost Bo Scatabo, my guy. It was a horrible injury. Very sad about that. But Dart at home, they don't really rush the passer in San Francisco. I don't know. I kind of like the dog in this one.
Really? You like the Giants?
I do.
God.
Yes, I do.
No, I just think I don't know. No, I can't get behind it. I just think there's too much momentum loss with Scatabo, and I just think the Niners are on I don't know. I can't pick against Kyle Shanahan. Like I just can't pick Brian Dable over Kyle Shanahan. I can't do it.
That's fair.
That's kind of where it comes down.
I get it. I mean, I was thinking. I mean, the numbers tell you San Francisco. I just don't trust that team. They're banged up. So are the Giants. So there you go. Yeah. Colts at Steelers. Colts continue to roll 7-1. Go to the Steelers. Indy's a 3-point favorite on the road. 15.5-point total. I can't see Pittsburgh winning this game. I'm not saying they should be favored by many more. And the Colts defense isn't great, but the Pittsburgh defense is awful. So can they stop Jonathan Taylor? If they can stop them, they have a shot. I don't think they can.
This is their game. This is their season right here, in my opinion, because this is that Tomlin underdog spot once again. This is literally the same spot we were in last week, and I feel like if they can't get this one done, then I think we're going to have to punt on the Steelers and betting the Ravens to win.
Do you know that the Ravens are already the favorite to win the division?
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I don't know. I just think this is kind of the last game. I think Indy plays this team and somebody else who's bad, then goes in there by, and then they'll start losing.
Yeah.
But what about the total? You like it over?
God.
15.5?
No, because I think if the Steelers are going to find a way to win, that they're going to have to get 3 turnovers. I think at least.
Yeah.
So I like the under in that game.
TJ Watt, are you out there somewhere?
Somebody.
Not much lately.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, if the Steelers are going to win this game, I think it's going to be an under game.
Okay. Chargers at Tennessee. This is the last in the 12 o'clock window. This is a weird game. 8.5-point favorites for the Chargers. It was up to 10 early in the week. I think in the market's 9.5. Okay, here's what it is. It was 10.5. Market's 9.5. Circa thinks it's going to be 8.5 at close. 43.5-point total. I mean, Simmons is supposed to play. Maybe he can do something against the Chargers offensive line, but I don't know. I'm sick of back in Tennessee. I just can't.
Yeah, no, I can't. Especially with Joe Alt back, their offensive line looked completely different on Thursday night against the Vikings. Which I didn't even realize he was coming back. Well, I guess I think I did hear that, but I had a dumb moment. We all have that. So, I think the Chargers take care of business here. I mean, the favorites have been hot. Is this the week where the favorites?
You got cut off there, but there's so many road favorites this week, which is weird. So, we'll see how it shakes out. I don't think you're wrong. I think this is one of them. All right, can I interest you in a Jacksonville at Raiders? Jacksonville is
No.
a 2.5-point favorite in the contest, 3 points in the market right now. This is the first 3:05 game. I actually kind of like the Raiders here. I would back them at the 2.5. I know Raiders suck. I'm
Wouldn't back either one of these teams.
That they suck, but if Jacksonville doesn't get turnovers, they're an average defense, right? So I don't know. I kind of like the Raiders here. I don't know why. It's the other thing in doing the contest with Ridgeway and her buddies, Grabo and Kitson, you have to pick a underdog to win the game outright, right? And so I've already used, Denver. I've already used some ones I could use on the short dogs, like the Buffalo and stuff. So in the end, I'm probably going to go with this game, which is hold your nose and just use it.
Right, I was going to say, which gives you so much indigestion that you probably can't stand it.
Yeah, Geno Smith, please.
I guess, yeah, if you're going to pick one, maybe you take Washington over Seattle. Maybe that's a better upset. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
For sure.
Hell, I'd almost feel better about taking, maybe you should, well, Houston is a favorite. Never mind. Continue.
When it flipped.
The Atlanta Falcons,
That's true, 5.5. Big number. Well, what about this game? You stay away game for Jags, Raiders. They both stink.
Yeah, I would back the Jags if I had to, just for sheer talent and because they need to win this game to stay in the playoff hunt. So, yeah, and plus Geno is like Oprah. He's going to give the ball away. So, you really expect Kenny Pickett to come in and beat Trevor Lawrence? I don't know.
I don't, but I can't trust the Jags.
Ashton Genty has got to have 3 touchdowns for them.
He better. He's in the lineup. All right, so New Orleans at the Rams. We just discussed this with the guys. The market's 14. The contest gives 13.5, 43.5 point total. Obviously, good survivor pick here at home, unless you think that Tyler Shuck, which, again, the spelling is confounding, can win his first road start in the NFL.
No. The Rams are coming off a bye. The Saints are coming off probably their 2 worst games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They have a quarterback controversy. Probably half the team is like, what are we doing? There's already rumors of trades for Shaheed or Brandon Cooks happening.
Sure.
Alvin Kamara's probably quit. Yeah, I don't see any hope for the Saints here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's definitely a good survivor pick if you're in a regular one. Chiefs at Buffalo. This started as a 1.5 point favorite of the Chiefs. Now it's up to 2.5, and that's what it is in the contest. 52.5 point total. Look like a lot of points. Look, early in the week, I was trying to make a case for Buffalo. In my mind, they always play well in the regular season. They can run the football. Kansas City is just a better football team. So I do agree with the move. I back Kansas City. I don't know if I could put it as my top 5, but they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I just Kansas City. I think they have all the momentum right now, even though obviously Buffalo's coming off an ass kicking of Carolina. But yeah, I like Kansas City right now. I think this is the most prolific offense they've had in 5 or 6 years, ever since Tyreek Hill left.
Yes.
And I think they're ready to make a statement. I think they're tired of all the noise, and they didn't play a very good first half last week against Washington, which I think they're tinkering with things, and then they're going to be like, we're just going to unleash it all, and it's going to be like, how the hell do you stop the Chiefs' offense? So
right. We'll see. I mean, Buffalo's got to figure it out. They've got to. Possession game. I think if Buffalo has a shot, it's going to be an under game.
I'm going to say I love the under in this game. Yeah, 100%. Both of these offenses, and I think last week the Chiefs had the best time of possession, and I think in the NFL, I think these are the 2 best time of possession offenses you've seen when they win. I think in victories was the stat. Yeah. Right.
All right. Sunday night football. We determined Jaden. Is he going to play? Is it determined that he is playing? The numbers indicate that. Seattle is at Washington. They were 3.5 point favorites. It's down to 3 in the contest in the market. Totals ticked up from 46 to 48. Again, indicative that Jaden is going to play. I don't know. Whatever. This is why I'm not picking this game. I had Seattle here because I think they're the better football team. But Washington's playing for their season. They lose this game, I don't think they make the playoffs, period. So that's probably why the market is responding that way. Washington's defense is garbage. They had a good first half and just got nuked by the Chiefs. Seattle's better. You think Washington's going to win this game?
It does look like Jaden Daniels has returned to practice. I was trying to look it up as you were talking there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a designation all the way yet. I can see if I can pull it up on the injury report. But I mean, even if he does play, yeah, I was gonna say even if he does play, they're still so banged up at the wide receiver position, which they finally did get Terry back last week. He had a touchdown, which is nice. I mean, but this is their season. They have to win this game. The only good news is that, I guess for if you're a Seattle fan, the only good news is that Seattle is like 12-1 on the road under Mike McDonald. So Seattle plays better on the road than what they do at home.
They are better on the road. Mm-hmm.
I think for that reason alone, I would take Seattle just for the value, and you're getting points in a team that's actually better on the road. They're probably better on paper right now, and they've been playing better football. So this is definitely a rat. There's definitely a rat. This is a rat line. Somebody knows something that we don't know. So I would hold my nose and take Seattle, but that just means Washington's probably going to win. Yeah.
Right. This should be a 4.5-point spread for Seattle. That's how much better they are than Washington, even with Jaden. I mean, Jaden missed a couple games. Who cares? I mean, I'm with you. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like you said, a little stinky. Monday night, we've got Arizona Dallas. You love this game, huh?
It's my 401k, baby.
Wow, 2.5 points favored for Dallas at home. 53.5-point total. Go ahead. Give me we don't endorse putting your 401k on the line, but it is his lead pipe lock of the week.
Yeah, 401k pick of the week is the Arizona Cardinals.
403B. If you got a little leftover from a nonprofit you worked at 6 years ago.
Yeah, there you go. No, you're putting that cheddar on the Cardinals this week is where you're putting it on. Kyler Murray's coming back.
That's great.
Yeah. Kyler Murray's coming back. I think Dallas is due for a letdown. They're undefeated at home this season. They had that tie with Green Bay technically. So
yep.
I think Cardinals obviously have been decimated at running back, which I think now they finally do have their running back room situated, which I think will help a lot. But yeah, Kyler Murray's going to come back. I think Dallas is going to struggle with his run. I think they're going to incorporate his legs more. Finally, he hasn't ran a lot this season. I think he's going to finally run this season, and I think it's going to be this game. So Monday night, it's a perfect time for the Cowboys to have yellow socks and have a bad game. And I think it's time. Yeah, I think this is the demise. This is the downfall of Dallas.
We know the defense sucks. We know that. It's just, can Arizona slow down the offense of Dallas, which we saw last week to an extent. After the first half, really, Denver's defense dialed in. I don't think Arizona's at that quality, but I hear you what you're saying. It's a stay away spot. I mean, you have to pick all the games for the pools, but
So me when you pick this game.
Will it be an under game?
I don't know about that.
So you think it's just a pure shootout, laser light show on Monday Night Football?
It could be a laser light show. Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride. Trey McBride does eat against this Cowboys. Yeah, this linebacking core is not good, so he could definitely eat. The thing is, too, Jacoby Brissett was like feeding the ball more to Trey McBride than Kyler Murray has ever thought about doing. So
he played good in his 2 games. They were competitive against the Colts, competitive against the Packers. The problem is they can't close games. And I'm not saying Dallas can, but dude, Arizona, we said this last week, they've been leading in the fourth quarter in all 7 of the games. They just have lost the last 5 in a row. So, okay, all good.
They've lost by a combined, 4, 5. 4 more is 9 and 4. So they've lost those 5 games by 15 points. Yeah.
It's a tragedy, to be honest with you. Okay, so what are your picks this week? You're going to bounce back. Tough week. You're going to bounce back this week.
Yeah, I got 1 right last week. I should have had 2 because I knew I should have picked the Dolphins. And the Browns look good for a half. Anyway, I'm going with Chicago -3, Detroit -8.5, the Rams -14.5, the Cardinals +2.5, and the Falcons at +5.5.
Like it. Got some heavy favorites in there and some dogs. I like Indy -3, so there's my favorite. I like Detroit as well, 8.5. But I'll get some dogs. I'm with you on Atlanta, so 5.5. Famous last words. There we go. Go ahead, Drake May. And then I've got some stinky dogs in the Raiders +2.5 and the Giants +2.5.
Smelly dogs. God.
Something that smells in this
What smells like big business?
All right, Survivor update. Huge attrition last week. 2,157 knockouts last week. Over 50% of the pool that was remaining is knocked out. There's a little over 2,000 entries, including Al and Art. About 11% left, essentially, of the pool. Contest leaders in the picks, 30 and 10. Again, solid but not great. 75% is very low for the stage of the year. 26 and 14 for the top 100. We went 2 and 3 again, despite my 3 and 2 personally. We went 2 and 3. So yeah, whatever. There's one more week for this quarter. We'll turn the page for a new quarter. We've been 40%. That's what we are. We're 40%. 2 and 3 every goddamn week. One of the guys I listen to, it's hilarious because he's had multiple 5-0 and 4-1 weeks, but he's either 5-0, 4-1, 1-4, 5-0. He's 500.
Oh boy! Wow.
Which doesn't get him anything anyway. So, what are you up to this weekend, brother?
I'm going to the station tomorrow. I've got I put in for the Wolves game too, so maybe we'll do some ice hockey, and then we're doing the chili cook-off on Saturday or on Sunday. So
do you prep it on Saturday? You kind of leave it in there for 12 hours?
Yeah, we might. I might come back and do it Saturday night after the game, maybe. That way it can simmer overnight or something. Yeah. Or I'll do it real early Sunday morning. I'll get up like 5. Get it going. That's where the love is made.
Yeah, of course. Blood, sweat, and tears in that thing. Tonight I see Dave Strickland, Arizona Dave.
Nice.
He's out here. We're going to hang out and watch the game tonight in about an hour or so. I fly back Friday night. Probably won't do anything. Famous last words. The CAGS party got canceled, which is a bummer. So there is a costume crawl I signed up for in Wrigley, which you're welcome to attend. It sounds like I can do the Wolves. But if you don't do the game, we're doing a costume thing in Wrigleyville.
Nice.
Saturday, and then the softball chili cook-off. Hopefully the calf will hold out.
You have the calf? Oh, God, you got a calf problem?
Oh, I've had it for months, dude. I was like volleyball 2 months.
Yeah, I don't know, Wegsy. I would just say real ginger.
I'm just
you know what those calves turn into?
I know. You have to hit it really far, and then I won't have to worry about sprinting.
That's a sprint. It's a pickup game.
Exactly. Pickup game. Walking.
Oh, man.
Well, follow us at Side Action Pod on X, Side Action Podcast on Instagram, and also on TikTok. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can follow me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper and on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to like us on all the socials. Check us out on wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm going to say what Art said. Happy betting. Happy betting.
Happy betting. Yeah. Let's win some cash.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. Thanks for joining us. And, love you guys.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week.
Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions of the show hosts and guests may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of loss, as the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given are for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro credit to OTMG the Vet, Old Me versus Young Me Part 2.